Jackie?
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. I'll call the meeting to order, and I'll invite you to join us for the Lord's Prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay.
Welcome, everyone.
We have a recognition, but she's not here tonight. That's Mrs. Judy McGee, so we're going to skip that until she shows up. Item 3.1, approve the minutes of the Glades County School Board regular meeting, May 26, 2022.
I move to approve the minutes of the May 26th meeting.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
4.1, approve the May 2022 finance reports.
I move to approve the May 2022 finance report.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
5.1, first reading of the 2022-2023 student progression plan. Mr. Bigger, does he need to say anything?
He's not here.
Mr. Bigger?
He was on there.
They were on
There he is.
there. Hi there.
Yeah, we closed this one, sorry.
You're on.
It's the progression plan.
Essentially, I don't know if you had a chance to look through the progress plans with changes, but most of them have just been updating the language from the Florida statutes. The only really major changes, trying to find my book. I condensed these part construction, this is 3 times in it. I moved it to an earlier section so it was all together in one. So we didn't have to read the same thing 3 times. So that's why the required instruction moved up towards the beginning. And then the reading requirements for elementary, the previous requirements were from 2014, I believe. The state law changed since then. So I scratched out those stuff, put in the current legislation, requirement for the schools have to notify parents, and the requirements of making sure the portfolios at the beginning of the year for other forms in elementary school, just things that have changed over the years as far as statute. So those have been put in there now since statutes been removed. Trying to look through real quick here. I don't know if you've had a chance to look through the sections that you wanted to go over in, but basically, most of it was just statute updating language. The only major change was in high school. I updated for middle school, updating the requirements for some of these listed like they're not required for promotion. So I just made sure that we put in the right requirements for 8th grade promotion. Career education went for us, career education. Put out the health and band, those aren't in there anymore, like aren't in the requirements anymore, they take them. They're not required by state law. So those are the only requirements for promotion to high school from 8th grade. And then what we did is, we were having a problem before because it was based on, especially in the high school, based on credits. You could become a sophomore if you had so many credits. Things of that nature, which most of the state has gone through called a zero progression. And what zero progression means, every year, you go up a grade level. Until you hit 8th, or you hit 12th. And at that point, you freeze until you meet requirements to move on. You can go in 2 grade levels that have requirements. For example, 8th grade, you have to meet the minimum requirements to move on to high school. And by 12th grade, you have to meet the minimum requirements for graduation. So a 9th grader, after goes through each year, whether he has 1 credit, 10 credits, whatever, he becomes a 10th grader. He may still have to take remedial classes, but he's a 10th grader. And then the next year, he would become an 11th grader. He may still need to take our credits, but he's moving on in years. Then when he gets to his 12th grade year, he stays a 12th grader until he graduates. It takes away confusion on testing, because if you took the 9th grade test this year, and then you hold me back, I shouldn't take the 9th grade test again, I should move on to the 10th grade test, that's the next year's progression test. So with zero progression, we stay in our cohorts, especially with cohorts being so important after graduation, you stay in your cohorts for the 4 years of high school. So there's no more blending in the cohorts, you don't know who's the one grouping, because as you come in 9th grade, that's your cohort. And then they all move up 4 years in a row, and so they, I think it's was very good. Then that 12th grade year, they continue working on their requirements for graduation. But they meet the requirements and then they graduate. With that being said, it also has wording in there that says, essentially, if I'm a 12th grader, but I'm not ready to graduate, you can only do activities that are 12th grade related once. For example, a grad bash trip. You, as a 12th grader, you may or may not graduate that year, but you may have to have another year, you might want to hold off on your grad bash the next year, but you only get to do it once. You don't get to have 3 grad bashes because you're a senior for 3 years. So basically you get to pick your ceremony once, you get to do your grad bash once, those kinds of things once. But essentially it's a zero progression, it's a grade level designation, so that you progress, and then when you get to the benchmark years, 8th grade and 12th grade, you stay there until you meet the requirement. That's a big change because that was in the pupil progression plan. Most of the things we hit before, ESCs hasn't changed. Requirements for graduation is just fleshed out as a need of biology instead of is one of their 3 sciences. The need of algebra 1 and geometry is one of their 4 maths. So those are just addendums clarifying things. The financial literacy, economics, government, social, what social studies you need to have are. And really, those are the big changes in the pupil progression plan. Most of the other things stayed the same. I just cleaned up statute titles as far as the number of the statute, some of those have changed. Clarified some languages, and just consolidated information if I could. Do you guys have any questions?
So the progression moving from one grade to the next, that's a common practice across the state? Or?
At the high schools I've seen the work with, talked to, they do very similarly. It cleans up the cohort issue, and it also cleans up confusion on whether they're a junior or a senior. Everyone knows what grade they're going to next year, and they know when they're stopping. If they're not done with their credits, they know they're going to be a senior if they finish. It just cleans up a lot of confusion.
Is there an age limit on that? Age limit?
So what you're telling us is that a 9th grader can move to be a 10th grader, even though he doesn't have all his credits? And
If
then
he failed every class, he
if
could still be a 10th
he
grader.
could be a 10th grader until he get to 12. Then he has to get all the stuff he needs done in order to graduate. Am I hearing that right?
Correct.
Okay,
That is correct.
okay.
Now, what that's going to do is it's going to start putting a crunch on them. Hey, I'm 10th grade with no credit. I need to do something. Because if they can sit around in 9th grade and play around and keep playing around in 9th grade and well, it doesn't matter. In 4 years, they're considered a non-credit for a graduation rate. Because it bases it off the first year they come in 9th grade.
But
Not when they finally hit their base of the number of points.
theoretically, then you could have
Well,
a
this
10th
tells
grade.
them, hey, the clock is ticking, so you can come in 9th grade, for graduation go home.
The microphone's over there, that laptop, that's how it's here.
So theoretically, a kid can be in the 10th grade, but taking all 9th grade classes. Because they've got, you would think they would need to pass English 1 before they move on to English 2, and English 2 before they move on to English 3, because these courses build on each other. So even though he's
Most, like,
classified
math
as
progression would.
he's classified as a
Math
tenth
progression.
grader, but he's in ninth grade classes.
Right. So they're gonna be, even if they were in ninth grade as a second or ninth grade, they're still gonna be taking some ninth grade classes. If they pick up half their credits, they might be doing some 10, some 9. As if they're designated as a 10th grader and they're taking ninth grade classes, they might take those as remedial, ingenuity. They can take their 10th grade classes. What it does is starts eliminating their elective. And when you need to start making up credits, you start losing your elective because you need to make up those previous credits.
Mr. Bigger, they are
Now,
still,
worse,
they are still included though in the ninth grade cohort, correct?
soon as they come into first year, ninth grade, that is their cohort. It doesn't change after that.
Okay.
Okay, I have another question. You address the student scoring at level 1 on the FSA reading. You've changed the word may to must. Is that a district decision that we made, or did the state determine that?
That's a state designation. Any level 1 has to be in remediation English until they've been passed. The only gray area you start getting into is possibly a level 2, but I would recommend everyone stays in remediation for 1 and 2, just to, liability purposes. If I put them in an avid class instead of reading class, and then they get to the junior year and they said, well, you never did remedial English. Well, then whose liability is that? I would say if they're level 1 or level 2, they need to be in remedial reading until they pass their FSA, because that covers us the liability laws. Level 1s are required by state law. Level 2s, if they're in a class that promotes like carpe diem, which is heavy reading curriculum into the curriculum, and you have to document the heavy infusion, then they don't have to be in an remediation English reading class. That class can count as their remediation because it has the heavy reading integration into it. But if you don't document that, that's where you start running into problems with not putting them in the remediation or the intensive readings, if you want to call it.
Mr. Bigger,
So while level 1s are required, I recommend 1s and 2s being intensive reading.
Mr. Bigger, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I have an issue, and I don't know if the pupil progression plan is where it needs to go or not, but we had some seniors last year that were working who had not passed the FSA. And I didn't like that. I don't think they should be allowed to leave half a day and go to work when they haven't passed their graduation requirements. Is this somewhere that should be noted if the rest of the board did agree with me? We haven't even discussed it yet.
That wouldn't necessarily be the pupil progression plan, that would be in the course requirements for getting
Okay.
into a work study class.
Okay,
But I agree, and when we had the discussions last year, since it wasn't worked out in board policy, I made sure that they didn't pass the FSA. They were not allowed to go to work until they took an intensive reading class before they left, because I wanted to make sure we were covered liability-wise, that we were doing what we could to get that kid to pass the FSA before they went to work.
right. Personally, I don't think they should work at all. I think they should study all day.
I agree, but just as a point, just for FYI information, there are a few of our kids that are working to support their
Yeah.
siblings and or their own personal children. So we run into a couple of kids that they're going to just drop out, and that hurts our graduation rate. It's like, halfway, and they can take some classes in the morning and go to work in the afternoon and then do those intense readings. They were up almost the credits, we just hadn't passed. Yeah, let's say.
Right.
Where that also is gonna come into play is your collegiate high school and your ITech. So we stated that if a student has not, and I'm speaking loudly for you all, I can hear, but for him, I want you to know that. That if a student cannot start or in the collegiate academy or at ITech unless they have passed their FSA. So I
Yeah,
think,
we can do the same kind of requirements for the work study program. The only thing is, we need to make sure that we have places for these kids to go 7 periods a day if we're not gonna allow them off campus because they haven't passed an FSA and they only need 2 classes. I need to have a whole bunch of electives for them to fill up their day with, in addition to an intensive reading class.
Well, I'm envisioning some one-on-one tutoring for those kids, is what I'd love to see. Cause they, you know, if they're not making it if they've had intensive reading since 10th grade, and in 12th grade, they still aren't passing, that intensive reading class hasn't helped them. You know, they need a different
Correct.
approach. So, a lot of kids need one-on-one.
Outside the pupil progression plan, we were talking about having, more SAT, ACT opportunities for them. So we have some opportunities for concordance scores, and that'll help out with some of those kids too.
Right.
Instead of us relying on other areas to host, we're gonna try and host one here on our Saturdays, so that we can have an opportunity for that concordance score.
That's all I have.
I'm looking for something. Okay, so on page 42, I think this is what Crystal is talking about, where it addresses minimum attendance requirements. Right now, it says that they can leave for less than 7 periods if they have passed the statewide assessments and have a cumulative GPA of 3.0 or above.
I will give you some information about that. I didn't touch that topic because I haven't had a chance to discuss it. That is for students that are ahead of the game, not behind, they pass their test. They only need 2 classes a day, they want to leave early. I would not recommend you allow them to do that. The reason I say that is because we're gonna lose FTE. They're not there all day long. They will give you full FTE if it leaves after 2 periods. So unless they're in a work study program or it comes from a dual enrollment or something like that, and they just wanna leave because they've met the requirements of graduation and state assessment, and they only need 2 classes, they wanna leave early. Right now, technically it's written that they possibly could. It says there's dual enrollment and executive internship, which is work study. So even in our writing right now is they have to pass the FSA to be able to do work study. So that would be something we want to probably discuss on how we want that to hold kids in their requirement.
And for FTE purposes, we only get funded for 6 periods a day, correct? So if they leave for the 7th period, they're not affecting our FTE at all.
No, I think it's 7 periods based on the number of minutes. So a full day is 45-minute classes, 7 periods. But I can verify that. I don't have it in front of me, but I'd have to go back and check the minute numbers. It'd have to be there's so many minutes a day for it to be considered full FTE. It might be 6, but I have to check the minutes. Really comes down to how many minutes per period you're keeping them in a day. In your total day and how many minutes you're supposed to be there.
We have 50-minute periods.
Well, I think 50-minute classes, I've always, and it's been a long time since I've looked it up, but I thought 300 minutes was the maximum we could get FTE for, which is 6 50-minute classes. So that's 6
But I
50-minute
think your
classes.
periods are down to 45 minutes a period of class right now, which is the bare minimum you can have in a period. So if that's the case, then the 45 times, I don't think matter. Yeah, 6 periods of 45 minutes is too short for the 7 periods needed for the full FTE because it doesn't cross over.
Are we at 45-minute classes? Dr. Daly, how long are our classes now? Are they 45 minutes?
I noticed in our weighted GPAs, it just says dual enrollment gets the 5 points. Do we need to add collegiate? Dr. Barfield, do we need to add the collegiate
I think
academy?
college is considered dual enrollment. I
They
think
are?
it's considered dual enrollment.
So we don't need that verbiage? Okay.
No, because those classes they're taking are technically a dual enrollment class, they're just taking enough of them to get a degree.
Right. But they make that, we still have some dual enrollment kids too, though, that aren't
Yes.
in collegiate.
Correct. And their classes, whether they take it through collegiate college or this is a dual enrollment, they both get the weighted GPA.
Okay.
We can ask him if he wants to make some claims up his us.
Do you have anything else, Mr. Bear, you wanna add before we vote, or whatever we're doing here?
No, ma'am, unless you guys have any other questions, like I said, you have the document, it's going through its public period. We'll have another hearing where we sit down and talk about it after 30 days, and then you guys will finally approve it after that.
Okay.
So there are some more stages where we can have conversation, or we can look and revise things. This is just the first readings, as I know, you can get input on it. So I'm good.
Thank you very much.
Great job, Mr.
Thank you.
Bigger.
It's just
Thank
the
you.
first reading.
Thank you.
We can change it later.
Okay, 6.1, approve of proposed amendments to the agenda, are there any? None. No.
Right, I second that.
7.1, public comment, Jackie, do you have any comment cards? No, ma'am. Consent agenda, there are 8.1 to 8.42, so does anybody have anything, we're gonna vote, it would be 8.3, 8.43 would be the motion.
I got mine answered today, so I'm good.
Okay. Somebody wanna make a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda items.
Second.
I do have a comment, though.
Okay, well, let's vote and then you'll comment.
I seconded. Thank you. Now you can vote.
Did you have any, oh, well, okay, did you have anything you
No,
wanted
we
to
can't
say?
vote first. We have to talk.
Crystal's good.
She's gonna comment after we vote, she just has comments, not,
Oh, now you have to
It's not
discuss.
discussion,
Right.
she just wants to say something.
Right.
Okay.
I'm
we're gonna
good.
vote first, right?
Yeah,
Either
vote
way,
first, vote
either
first.
way, either way.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Now it's not first, second discussion, then vote.
it's not
No, it is.
discussion,
It
she,
is.
Okay.
This is, we're doing something a little different.
Okay.
okay,
Okay, so what I want to say is for items 8, 33, 34, and 35, this is our rehires at all three schools. We got the applications. I did call Miss Ivy Formandia, who's hiding from me. There she is. So I just wanted to say that I noticed that we didn't have our background checks were not there, so I called and asked her about that, and she pointed out to me that we were not supposed to be getting those. But, you know, I just want the public to know that if they get to this point, the background checks have been done and they're clear, or they would not be on the agenda. And the second item, you know, we had a lot of controversy about salary placement, and, you know, in the past, on our agenda, it would say hiring so-and-so at step so-and-so, and their salary would actually be on our agenda. These were not, because it was my understanding they're still being calculated and figured out. But I just want any teachers that might be listening to know that people are gonna be placed on the accurate step per their year's experience. And I just wanted to make that note.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Good evening. I'll make this very brief. You have 3 grants in front of you. 2 of them are annual, and at this time recurring grants, and that is the Perkins Rural and the Perkins Secondary. The third one is part of the American Rescue Plan. It was a $204,000 grant. You could spend it either this summer and next summer, or just next summer. And the grant application came out on May 18th. So to try and get it done for this summer was impossible. So all the funds have been pushed to next summer. So we should have a robust summer school program next year. This grant will not cover everything. I had to pare back some transportation costs in order to get this grant to fit within the budget. But it will be a huge offset for any summer school costs we've got. And next summer, and I should be able to pick up the remainder with other grants and keep us out of using general fund money for summer school for at least another year or two.
That's great.
So
Great job.
that's where we are.
Yes.
And you've got the summary of the grants. There's not a whole lot more I can tell you right now. I did not know that we were down a utility vehicle at Westglades FFA, so that's in for the rural for this year. We're gonna try and get that replaced, as well as give Mr. Sharp the equipment he needs to be able to take care of the pasture.
Oh, so that's for the FFA, not for the school, because the schools was stolen.
It's for
It's
the,
for Mr. Sharp. It's,
it's for the school slash
yeah, yeah.
FFA.
Okay.
It's being paid with Fed funds for the school. Of course, FFA is gonna be a part of that.
Okay,
Well,
Those are
it's for the ag classes.
Yes.
because okay. Thank
So
you.
the utility vehicle is like a 4x4 or side by side?
Kind of a gator.
A
Gator
gator,
type,
whatever they call
what we're
it. I
looking
don't
at.
know what they call it. Okay.
Theirs was stolen a couple of years ago. And
Did they ever find it?
That's in the trailer or something else, it's all right, it was one thing.
that was prior to my administration, but I know that they were unable to find it. I know a police report was done on it, but.
The cameras were down, and we didn't have any video.
Deputy Alvarez, do you wanna comment here?
The cameras were up, but there was a delay that we've had problems with our surveillance. There were breaks, and the break was quite extensive. We did see them coming in. We were unable to get a plate because of that break or see the face and placement. That's why there was additional cameras added to Westglades.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody have any questions about the grants?
No, it's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Got it.
I like the way you summarized it. That was great.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, take a motion.
I move to approve the Perkins Secondary, Perkins Rural Initiative, and the ARP Summer Programs grants.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Nothing amended. Number 11, general public comments. Number 12, board member comments and business. And
I'd like to start.
go.
I'd like to thank everybody for our meeting this morning, how we could talk and come to some resolutions and come to some conclusions. And I thank all of you for that.
You too.
Yeah, we've had really good meetings today.
Crystal?
I really don't have anything. I just want to
What?
say, I know, right? I do want to
I'm
say,
sorry. For anybody listening, I admit,
We have to write this thing down.
I do want to thank the voters that I am going unopposed this time. That's a great relief to me.
And I as well.
And yes, you are. And I take that with great humility, and I'm very appreciative. And, I did read some new information this afternoon, about stuff for the scholarships that I'll be bringing to you all later, but it's still kind of fresh, so I'm gonna wait till I understand it better, but, I thought today was great also as well. And one thing I loved on this agenda were the rehires, because that just does my heart good when people come back. I really liked, I like getting the new people, obviously, but when people come back, tells me that working here was a good experience for them, or they wouldn't come back, so I enjoyed seeing that. That's all.
Patty?
I think all of our agendas and information has been very good. And I too want to thank the community for the support. I have also been pleased to get unopposed. So you'll see me for 4 more years. Thank you.
Well, congratulations to you both. We're not all that lucky.
Congratulations. Thank you. Hope y'all do well.
I don't have anything to say except for we had some questions today. I only got one of them answered. And that the acreage at West Glade is 200. The two lots combined is
Okay.
right at 200 acres.
I knew it was.
But the city question, you didn't get.
They didn't answer me. And neither did the question about the, what was the other one? Oh, about the area, if there was anything set aside in the Port LaBelle plat for a school. I didn't get that answer yet either.
I'm really surprised about 200 acres. I didn't know.
It's like 150 on where the school actually is, and on the corner it's like 150, and then the other field is like 40 something.
And that's the pasture, the FFA
Mhm.
pasture? Okay.
When we did that, we thought that we were gonna, and that's why it was built the way it was. We knew we needed the elementary, and we thought that we would have to come back for another building for just middle school. And that's why all the benches and everything's all itty bitty. And those, the junior high got people look too big for all that kind of stuff. So we knew we were gonna have to do that.
Well, it's lucky that we have that much land, because that's
Mhm.
a lot. That's it.
I am just really pleased that we have so many new hires, and talked to, Christy only has one opening and she has an interview set to fill that, and I think Dr. Daly's got very close to a full staff.
Yeah.
Just looking for 2 more. I don't know about West Glades, but, what I hear from other districts that are needing 40 and 50 and 60 teachers, we're really looking good right now, so I'm excited about that. That's it.
Okay. Now let's see.
I love it.
Me too. Okay, board member, information items. And then none. Superintendent's report is gonna give us the information item. Go ahead, Dr.
All
Markle.
righty. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and start by, just saying, kind of segueing several things that you all said. I thought we had a very productive meeting today, and we've been meeting all day, so if we seem a little, I think we're all ready to get out of these 4 walls, but, we had a really good meeting, and, the school board, has, we've really learned our strengths and weaknesses, and I think we're working, at making the best of what we can. To kind of segue what Mrs. Prowant said, our surrounding districts, Hendry County as of this morning had 87 face-to-face teacher openings. Okeechobee has over 100, and Highlands has over 100 teachers there, and that's just teachers. That is not any other. That's not resource. That's teachers. And so I think we're really blessed to be in, where we are and given. I will kudos to our principals, Dr. Daly and Ms. Durrance and Mrs. Wills. They've done an outstanding job at hiring. The teachers that they're hiring are qualified and they're certified. And so it's a commitment to the principals and to the school board that we are going to have the best instructors in front of our students. At this time, I would like to transition over, Mr. Bigger, Ms. Schillinger, we're gonna have to say goodbye to you because we're gonna switch out.
They can,
You can-
do it,
Yeah, you can stay on, but I think we won't be able to see you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so as many of you know, we had our FSA scores came back from this past school year. And, the day the scores came back, there was a big issue, not just in Clates County, but across the state, everyone when the state released the scores, they were released in a completely different file than anybody had, so we didn't have it wasn't converted yet. And so the following day, we were coming in, we were going to get all this data, and my office had a water leak, and so Lake Hickmachee is in my office right now, as I'm fondly calling it, but it was Mr. Bigger's last day, and so I was basically, I was like, what am I gonna do? I can't even get on my computer. The ladies from HEC, I called them last two meetings ago, I believe it was. The school board signed an agreement with HEC for a data share. It comes with someone that can help you with your data, help you be able to look at trends, look for, areas of improvement. So I called, and the lady was so wonderful, and she's like, "Don't worry, Dr. Barfield, I'll make it look good." So what she did, she turned out a great PowerPoint, and so I said, "Well, I'll make sure you get credit for the PowerPoint." What I had her do, I asked her for specific data points. This is a reflection of where we have been in the past. So this is from 2018, and so what you're going to see in the next several slides, I think there's 13 slides, is there's a lot of growth, there's a lot of decline, there's maintaining. And to be fully honest with you, I really haven't had the time, because we've been in meetings, and to really dive deep into this data. But visually, I'd like for you to see where we are, and I know our principals will be presenting their data and kind of tell us their plan of action. So on all these slides, Moorhaven Elementary is in yellow, or goldenrod, I guess you would call that. West Glades is in green, and Our Way Pamietta Imahaga is in red. And this was third grade proficiency, and as you can see, there was a slight decline at the charter school and at West Glades, but a significant increase at Moorhaven Elementary, and that's third grade proficiencies. So when you're thinking about, for those of you that are going to be watching this, and those of you that are here tonight that might not know this, third grade do not get gain scores; they just get proficiency scores. So when they're calculating the school grade, but this is a great thing, because they will get a bottom 25% score, but this is just the total across the board. So. Mr. Langdale? One more. Oh, no, that's math. Okay, wait, go back, I'm sorry. Okay, so as you can see, from 2018, 2018, across the board, really, we saw a great decrease in our math scores. 2021, other than West Glades, there was an increase. Moorhaven Elementary and our charter school did increase their scores. In fact, very drastically from Moorhaven Elementary and Pamietta went from 55 to 72% proficient. Okay, then we get to fourth grade. And as you can see, going back to that 2018 school year, it looked like Our Way and West Glades kind of did a little bit of a status quo. Maybe Pamietta kind of went up a little bit, and at Moorhaven Elementary it's been going down, the fourth grade proficiency, since about 2019. And from 2021, there was an increase from 2021 to last year. And fourth grade will not only get proficiency, they will also get gain scores. Okay, so this is math in the fourth grade. And once again, you can see there's a slight increase at Moorhaven Elementary. There is a very large increase at West Glades. and Pamietta did a little bit of a increase, or decrease. Okay, fifth grade. So as you can see, our students are pretty much scoring around it's not all over the place. But all three schools have kind of taken a decline since 2019. And then 2021, the only school in fifth grade ELA proficiency that made an increase was the Pamietta Imahaga. This is our fifth grade math proficiency. And as you can see, you hear things out in the community, they're like, I heard Moorhaven Elementary School's scores were horrible. Well, you can't expect children to go from level 1 to level 5 in 1 year. We have to celebrate every success we can, and the students are making gains. And so as you can see, Pamietta they had a huge jump from, I believe that says 43 or 45 to 41 to 81. So they had a 40-point percentage increase. That's amazing. And
they did not go face to face last year. They were all virtual last year.
correct. So these were all virtual.
No, this year.
This year, right.
Last year, that.
Correct.
41, they were virtual.
And then, if you look, Westglades went down a little bit. Yes, it looks like they went down, but it's a slight. Fred, could you tell me the numbers on that, please?
54, 44.
So before you go on to the next slide, this has been the elementary grades 3rd, 4th, and 5th for ELA and math.
Yes.
And considering the turnover that we've had at Moorhaven Elementary School, the issues we've had with staff, I think there was only one slide where they went down. All the others, they had gains. I think that's amazing.
I think it's a testament to the teachers and the heart that's in that school. And that what is gonna really happen in the next 3 years with a consistent leader there.
Did she sign that in blood?
Yes. Yes.
That's why I pale, because it took more blood.
Okay, well, we're gonna hold you to it.
Please do.
All right, as we move on, this is our 5th grade science proficiency. Science scores just came out today. This was rough. This one kind of hurt. This is, as you see, Moorhaven Elementary is declined and declined and declined. But the good news about all of this, and as you see, Westglades also declined, but the good news about this, when they rank them by district, and now the consortium, that's Highlands, Okeechobee, Hardy, Hendry, DeSoto, and Okeechobee, we were ranked 2nd. So we are low, but as a district, there's others that are a lot lower than we are. And we've got work to do, and a lot of people think, well, science is, they know how to, blow up something, or it's, but here's what I'm gonna say. Science is very highly, it's related to reading. And if a student can't read it, they can't do the science. So that's an area we know, because our ELA scores will be very comparative to our science scores. Okay? Next is our 6th grade ELA proficiency. And as you can see, Westglades had a little bit of a decline, but it was very minimal. Moorhaven middle increased, as did Our Way Charter, and Our Way went from 43 to 85.
That's awesome.
Okay, in our 6th grade math, we, as you can see across the board, we went up, and actually 3rd through 8th grade, we went up in every grade level across the everybody went up as a whole. So this to me is, this is a great, it builds those foundational skills, getting ready for your geometry and your algebra 1, okay? Ooh, this one hurt. This is our ELA proficiency 7th grade. And as you can see, Westglades had a small increase of 1%, Moorhaven, middle, went down. But in these scores, most of those students were level ones from the year before, so there may be gain scores, because just because you're a level one doesn't mean like you have to go to a level two. A level one could make a number of growth, and you would get the points for that. So, no, it's not good. I always try to find the silver lining. And like I said before, it's not realistic to sit here as a board and say, well, our level ones are gonna be level fives next year. I mean, we're gonna do everything we can, but we have to celebrate those small successes. 7th grade, as you can see, our Westglades went down a little bit by 8 percentage points, but Moorhaven and Paymietta increased. Proficiency, this was 8th grade ELA, and that is 38 to 33.
Yes.
Moorhaven, and then Westglades and Paymietta went up, I believe Paymietta went up from a 32 to a 55.
But emphasize again that point that Mr. Gresseth made, that those previous years, Paymietta was totally online. So you see the effect of coming back to face-to-face instruction. They have such huge gains. And I think that is, I mean, I would credit that face-to-face instruction with those huge gains.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, this is 8th grade math proficiency, and I really don't know what to say about that. Just, so it looks like our way, it looks like they, in 2018, and they tested 2019, they must not have had any students take the test. I don't know. Westglades, as you can see, in 2021 to 2022 made extensive gains, almost 37 points, I believe, if I'm seeing the numbers.
Went from 31 to 68.
31 to 68, okay, and then Moorhaven had a decrease from 31 to 21.
29 to 20.
Okay, I apologize.
That's 8th grade.
Can't see.
I don't know if you can see it, but our way, there's one here, there's a red dot with 20.
Okay, thank you.
Our way is on the board with 2022.
Okay, this is science proficiency. As you can see, Moorhaven from 21 to 22, could you read the numbers, Fred, please?
13 to 28.
So that's very good. And then our Westglade school went from,
9 to 40.
and Paymietta
40 to 38. So they went down 2 points.
went down 2 points. Okay, and this is a time, because of course we have only one 9th through 12th grade. This is our 9th grade proficiency ELA.
36 to 30.
10th grade
Stayed the same in the last 2 years, 31.
stayed the same. And this I thought was excellent. Actually, Moorhaven, or Glades County Algebra, end of course, we were number 1 in the consortium. So you can see where Moorhaven Middle High was,
18 to 46.
and Westglades,
85 to 88.
and our way.
In 2019 was 67. There's nothing.
So there wasn't enough students to test it.
Is that one teacher responsible for that Algebra 1 EOC?
No, ma'am. That's all, that's the entire district. It took Algebra 1.
No, I mean for the high school.
Was there just one Algebra
Algebra
1
1
teacher,
teacher.
or were there more?
Oh, yes. Dr. Daly, who was your Algebra 1 teacher?
We had several, we had Ms. Shonut, outstanding job.
Okay. Whew.
That one hurts.
Can we skip this slide? No. This is, This is geometry, and as you can see, West Glades had increased from 85% to 100% passing proficiency. Moorhaven,
16, and I don't even see the number.
okay, well, thanks, Fred. So, I mean, we had some work, and you know, here's the thing, we're a small enough district, we can't say it's one teacher because it takes a lot of teachers and a lot of things happen on, you know, to get those students ready for that geometry test. But we have made some change in plans on that course, right, Dr. Daly?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
The teacher that did quite well with algebra, we moved her to the geometry now. So that's a real positive piece.
Okay, this is biology, so we're seeing, and as you, if you can remember from our other slide, we do have an uptick on our science, which is a good thing, and so 21-22, we have made an increase. So this is civics. U.S. history, this is the end of course, to the test that they take at the end of the course, and we went from, that stayed the same.
Yes. I believe that's the end of the slide.
Okay, so as you can see, I would like to give, if the principal, Dr. Daly, if you would come up, and then I'll have Ms. Durrance come up, if you would like to address any of these slides or say anything. Thank you, Mr. Langell.
Chairman, Dr. Barfield, you know, you give the mic to the son of a preacher, you can't, you can't help but come to the mic. I do need to say that the civic scores, we had some very difficult times when I got there. We did not have a solid teacher. We worked on it, but you'll be happy to note that the history, U.S. history and the civics, that the two individuals that you approved for today from Hendry County had a 74% increase in civics and history, and they're working with us now.
Can we hire you to be a recruiter for us?
Yes, ma'am.
When you retire, just come
I
back and
keep
be a
telling Ms.
recruiter?
Durrance that once I recruit them, that's it, you know?
Listen, I've sent you some too.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. We've got some work to do, but in my years of experience building, you can't start from the top and go down. You have to have, as the superintendent has stated, you have to have a strong foundation. And what we have started doing, we've started a strong foundation that will last for a long time. I'm very, very pleased where we are. I'm not totally satisfied with the scores, you know, but we're better than we were in the beginning. So, and I have to give credit to the superintendent. She's given us carte blanche to do the things that we need to do, and you board members as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
Dr. Daly,
Dr. Daly, hold on.
I just want to say, you know, when you first came here, I felt like, as an outsider looking in, when I would go over, that you were working on the culture of the school, and that was your priority. That's how it appeared to me.
Yes.
That you were building relationships with students and staff and with us as board members. And you've done an amazing job doing that. You have completely changed the culture in that school.
Thank you.
Now we can start focusing on the educational needs, because that, you know, the quote's there that, you know, the relationship's got to be first. And I think you have built that with our students. And I am so proud that you're our principal.
Thank you,
And
Ms. Ray.
of the work that you're doing. And I think now we can focus on, we've got through the pandemic, you know, we've got stability. And I'm just looking forward to you just shooting those scores up through the roof.
Thank you so much for that acknowledgement. And thank all of you for the support that you've given us. And it's not me, it's the team, it's the family that is important. That's what we build on. Thank you very much for your
Thank you.
support. Thank you.
Mr. Ernest?
Thank you. Yeah, Danny.
That's the shortest I've ever heard him at the night. He's hungry.
He's tired too.
First of all, I just want to thank you all for, trusting me to be at Moorhaven Elementary as the principal, as the leader. I'm very, very excited. I have a teacher here in attendance tonight. The teachers have been coming up, and I had to turn some away today because they were cleaning the carpets. Thank you, Mr. Gressett. They're all excited about being there. We are doing a theme this year, as I let everybody know, and I've had even some high school teachers coming over to help with decorating to get the school, exciting and inviting for the students. I'm sitting over here crunching numbers. Been doing it all day, been doing it tonight, to see, kind of where we need to hit. And there's not one area over another that we need to work on. It's math, reading, science, all the areas. I am departmentalizing in 4th and 5th grade this year. I feel like that way I can ability group and let the teachers work in the areas that need to be worked on with these students based on, scores and how they're doing. I am going to get in reading coach for math, science, and reading. Not reading coach, but performance coach for science, math, and reading. And we are going to have dedicated time. We've already built the schedules. K through 2 will have 45 minutes every day of intervention time in small groups. 3rd, 4th, and 5th will have an hour every day. I'm going to be pulling the paras in. They're going to be working with the students. So those groups will rotate depending on, once they close some gaps, we'll move them into different groups so it won't get boring for them. I'm very, very excited. The week of July 11th, West Glades and Moorhaven Elementary are going to come together, and we're going to have pacing guides for the first time, I don't know if ever, but in many, many years. And we're going to be on the same page. Both schools are going to work together. Ms. Wills and I have been talking a lot and doing a lot together, and we sent out form and have had a great response, and I'm going to host it there at Moorhaven Elementary. And so I think that that's really going to help, both schools with being on the same page and being able to work together. So I'm just really, really excited.
You're right.
Oh.
That is the first.
Well, I'm very, very excited. Have a great staff. The new teachers that are coming on are just phenomenal. They text me, they call me, they're so excited. They've come up and gotten the teacher's editions. They want to review them and look at them even before we do the curriculum mapping. So, I'm very, very excited. I know it's going to be a great year.
Are they new teachers or experienced teachers?
I have kind of half and half, but I have one that, I have one that's coming back that's experienced. I have another one. She was in my office today, really, really excited. She's going to be teaching 3rd grade. She has 13 years experience, and she got her scores back today. And she had, I think she said 26% of her students scored a level 5. And I'm like, yes, teach them all, But, and then, I have some new teachers as well, but I have some great mentor teachers. I've already assigned the mentor teachers. I've assigned my lead teachers. I'm getting them in contact, through text, through, phone calls. So, and like I said, I have a lot already coming up to the school. So, I'm having to turn them away sometimes, I'm like, I can't come in today, they're doing this and that. But today was the last day of the regular summer school. Pre-K is there throughout the summer, but so more teachers will be able to come up because some of the classrooms were being utilized. And so now, I told them, I said, after the holiday, you can come up and take off with it. So, and when we get everything finished, I want you all to come and look because it's starting to look really, really fun.
One last thing I was gonna ask what the theme is. Are you gonna share it or is it a surprise?
It's not a surprise. It's a road trip to success. The road trip to success.
I'm excited to hear that you're departmentalizing
Yes,
4th and
ma'am.
5th grade and ability grouping. I've been a proponent of ability grouping forever, and that's the only way you're gonna target those low kids
Yes.
and keep those high kids engaged.
Yes, and being in the classroom, I was in the classroom for 15 years, and having the different ability levels in the classroom, that's exhausting on a teacher. It's very, very difficult. And I know you can't ability group K through 5. That's just, you've got to have them together some. But once they get into those upper grades, I really feel like departmentalizing is beneficial for the teacher and the students.
Absolutely.
so I'm very, very excited. I hope you all will come by just as much as you want, because there's gonna be a lot of learning taking place.
And I want to say that I used to think Dr. Daly was the #1 recruiter in Glades County, but I went with Ms. Durrance to a concert, a Kid Rock concert, and she's recruiting at the concert. She's got this lady talked into coming to Glades County. I was like, gosh, this is not typical. But anyway.
See how much fun we have out there?
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mr.
so much.
So, as I said, we have work to do, but we truly are making improvements, and they're smaller in some areas, but for kind of like what Ms. Pro once said, what we've been through, and it's a miracle, and that it speaks volumes to the heart of our teachers and our administrators at our school. And I have to agree with Ms. Drake that, Moorhaven High School was a shell of a place. It really had lost everything. It felt like that when you walked in the halls, and when you walk in there now, it's truly back to being about kids, and it's a great feeling. I wanted to, just because the ELA data showed some declines, one of the things that, as a teacher of many years, as I was a national board certified teacher, one of the things that they really tell us to look at is that intervention, what you're doing in reading, and it's kind of like the prison pipeline. You once you get someone in prison, it's kind of hard to get out of prison. Reading a level 1 student that is in an intensive reading class, it's really hard to get out of that level 1. And sometimes we have to re-look at what we're using as a teaching tool to those students. You're looking at some kids, it is just they had a bad day testing, but the majority of kids, it's that they, somewhere along the way, especially in our high schools, somewhere along the way, they missed something. It could be that they have, a phonics program, or a phonics problem, or that it's a decoding problem, or there's several things that could have been missed, but that high school intervention piece is crucial. I want to address, Mr. Bigger talked about the 9th grade cohort. Several of you probably saw, I did a social media blast trying to see, there was 4 students we could not find that they were showing as dropouts at Moorhaven High School. We found 3 of those students. There's 1 that we know where they are now, and we just have to do the right paperwork, but it's looking like we're gonna have above a 98% graduation rate at Moorhaven this year. So, which is really good. But I also want to add that we are working very hard to make sure that ACT and SAT is being offered to our students, and that we are doing our job at the high school. And this is really gonna fall heavily on Dr. Daly and his administrative team, as well as our guidance counselors, that those waivers, there are waivers for students to take the ACT and the SAT if their parents can't afford them. And as you know, our area, we need to have a lot of people that need assistance. And I'm gonna tell you, our kids are starting, and I saw this, so this is the part of that culture. The kids would come and say, can someone help me? I really want to take the ACT. I want to get my scores up. So it's making sure we identify the kids that need those ACT, SAT scores for concordant scores if they cannot pass the FSA, and that we're doing our job to identify them and to get them waivers. I wanted to let the board know, and I kind of spoke of this earlier today, about a month ago, we went to it's Heartland Educational Consortium. It was a leadership conference, and all the consortium was there. Glades County had the largest number of teachers and administrators there. We truly made a statement. We were there, we were loud, we were proud, and really showed the unity. We had many districts. I mean, I know everyone is friends with everybody from around, and they were like, God, what's going on in Glades County? So other people are seeing it, and it felt good to be kind of like, it just felt good to be together and to celebrate until I got COVID. Yes, and Miss Durrance won a projector, but I was at the hotel and I discovered I had COVID, and so that was the most, I don't, experience is not a good word, but you would have thought, they didn't want me to come anywhere near to go out, to check out of my room. They're like, don't worry about, just
leave.
just leave. Don't worry about anything.
go.
That was the walk of shame.
Yes.
Mask on.
Yeah, we had our heads down. We were embarrassed. But the Heck Deck was we heard a great speaker, and he just really talked about the importance of building your culture and talked about, making sure that in every decision, and as we've been doing, making sure we're putting the kids first, and that no matter what, that we won't give up on any student. Okay, just a couple more things. The excitement at West Glades right now is crazy. We are adding, as you know, you all were instrumental in doing the pre-K out there, and I could tell you, if I had enough room for 500 kids, we could fill it. And all of a sudden, I don't know, there's all these new pre-K students that have moved into Glades County.
Young families.
Yeah, that's crazy. But we have hired our teachers, and it's just, everybody is very excited about it. And I know it is something, I think Ms. Drake and I talked about this earlier in the week, it is something that our families out there wanted for many, many years, and I'm glad that we were able to make it happen this year. Okay. And two more things.
How many do you have? How many classrooms?
I want to say we're right around 17 in every classroom. We've actually held back. We've had to deny some people. If you're a Glades County resident, a teacher, student, they were able to get in, but if they were from Hendry County, they were put on a wait
We had
list.
to do that.
Yes,
before.
ma'am.
So how many classrooms of 17?
There's two.
Two. Okay.
Okay, and so I want to,
Oh, sure.
okay. It was, as an informational item, we had a member of our community come to us. She was building, she has a home that is that is sitting on Glades County School Board property. Ms. Allen did an amazing job at looking up the site plans. I don't really, you wanna?
You want me to explain the whole
Yes,
thing?
please,
Okay.
because I'm sitting,
Okay, so,
Do you need this?
no, there's a resident who is getting a new home through Rebuild Florida. Her current home sits not fully on the school board property. It just, the old home is just kind of hanging over. So that's not gonna be an issue. There's not gonna be anything on school board property. Her new home will be placed properly because they've done a survey and they're gonna, I've looked at the new site plan and it meets the setbacks for the zoning, et cetera. Her problem is they're gonna use the existing septic. The existing septic is also on her property, but it goes almost, the drain field and all goes right up to the property line. In order for her to utilize that existing septic, she's supposed, the septic, the whole system, including the drain field, is supposed to be 9 feet from the property line. Well, she doesn't have that because it runs up to the property line. So she is asking the district for an easement of 10 feet so that they can use her existing septic. It doesn't mean, there's nothing of hers gonna be on our property, but she needs that in order to get the new house placed.
Can it be put into words?
No, it'll have to be.
Because otherwise.
What part of
they'll be
our
using it.
property are we talking about?
It's at Washington Park. What is she on? What street is she on? Maybe I do need to see that. She's at Williams Street.
Williams.
She's at the end of Williams Street. And actually the way it goes, yeah.
So it's on the Booker T?
Well, it
Property?
just, well, yeah, and not even, it's just, well,
When
we
you
should
give
have.
her the easement though, does that give her 10 feet of our property, or it allows her to build up to our property?
She's not gonna have
I mean,
anything,
the drain field goes up to our property.
right.
Cause you said she asked for a 10 feet easement, that's still the easement,
The easement is only for a setback purpose. It's nothing
it's
of
on
her.
our property though, the 10 foot.
Yes, but there's nothing of hers gonna be on our property. She
Right.
just we're just giving her the setback.
Right.
Well, we're
It's
not
just
giving
a
her.
space
Yeah,
that we are
could not do
saying
anything
we
with.
can't do anything with
With
this,
no way.
right.
this 10 feet.
Is it
because-
near our school? or-
No, it's at the end of one of her streets, and actually, her existing house is like one end of it's 5 feet on our property, and when she gets done, none of it will be. I'll pass this down.
That's so funny.
What?
My
Well-
mom's trailer was on someone's property one time, and she got up there with a chainsaw and cut the end of it off. She did.
So this is the way it'll be. I mean, you can look at it on a map if you want to, but this is the street, William Street. This is her lot. Her house will meet the setback, the building setback. This is not accurate. This goes up to here. And all she needs is just to meet the rule of the health department. She has to have that easement. She needs that easement.
And we would have to agree that we would not build anything or use that.
And we wouldn't
property.
be able to that close to anyway. I
That's
mean,
right.
There's nothing we could put that close.
So is
We
that
would have
something
an
we
easement
need to
too.
vote on?
Yeah, we will eventually need to vote on that. This is like for information.
Yeah,
Could I put in my 2 cents?
yes, do,
It's a real bonus to be able to get rid of an encroaching house.
yes.
And exchange it for like the shadow of their house being too close to our property, so to speak.
Right.
Right? We're not really giving anything up. We have a lot of property in that area.
And it's gonna make the place that
And
there look better.
Yeah, so whatever we're really giving up by letting it be too close to the property line, we're more than getting back and not having the headache of dealing with an encroachment sometime. That's a real problem.
Okay, and then 2 more things and I am done and we can call it a day. It is that, I called the realtor from our meeting today and told her to proceed with the purchase of the property. And so she said there will be some contracts and we're gonna be about 100 and something days out because there's gonna be all kinds of surveys and all that. So that was that. And then finally, I just wanted to bring this out just because if someone is watching this and by chance, on the Glades County Schools website, there will be a Glades County School District request for proposals for teacher housing in Glades County School District. This is a proposal. This is for a builder or a contractor to come in here and to make us an offer of how they could enhance the housing market for Glades County school teachers, employees, and sheriff's department and ambulance drivers, any public works. You know, I want to say this again because I just want to be clear. This is not a contract for anything. This isn't tell us how much you'll do this for. This is basically a proposal. Give us a proposal. You know, this is just to get the ball rolling. This is to give us some ideas and open the line of communication. And I said this today, and you know, us sitting back and doing nothing we're going to get nothing. We have to at least try. We have to be willing to take advice from taxpayers and for people that this is what they do for a living. So that's why we're opening this up. This will be on our website. So if you know somebody in the building arena, or if you know somebody that is in this line of work, we ask that you share this with them, and maybe we can get some great suggestions. And then I just want to end by saying I just am really I'm really appreciative of our meeting today and look forward to.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Daly and Ms. Durrance, you know, the old saying in Washington Park was every frog should praise its own pond.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna praise you guys for what you're gonna do. Cause I believe we're gonna have a great, great school. And, you know, and I appreciate the people that are coming to the meetings. And I'm telling them at church, you can't talk about something that you don't know about.
Yep.
You got to come up and see what's happening. Because Facebook or whatever them other things,
It's
books,
gonna be live.
don't tell it all.
That's right.
So you come and find out for yourself. So I'm praising you in advance.
Thank you.
Okay? I got y'all back.
Yeah, and thank you. I mean, we have meetings, for 20 years I've sat up here and we've had meetings with just employees, like maybe 1 or 2. And nobody, nobody, for years. It's nice to see you all out there and sharing good things. And so much more to come. I'm excited.
Anybody have anything else? I'll adjourn the meeting. Good night, everyone, and thank you for coming.
Thank
And
you all.
our pre-K teacher, our pre-K baby.
Oh, yeah, this is our